Warning, the following episode of Boots on the Ground contains mature language. View at your own discretion.
Now you just look like a goat. Now you look like a child molester.
How do I get rid of it?
What, the beard? I
There
haven't
we
fit
go.
in.
I have a planetary conquest battle that's starting right now that I cannot log into.
Well, can anyone?
I don't think anyone can.
No, it's just annoying.
I feel like I fit in now.
Don't those all get refunded though? Like all the clones and everything?
Yeah, it basically resets it. Like the attack never happened.
Cool. Also, welcome back to Boots on the Ground. This is the planetary conquest part of the show. I don't really know. Like, I haven't paid any attention to planetary conquest this week because I've been busy getting ready to move house. And I'm the guy who like looks at it 3 times a week and knows everything, but like I literally don't know what's been going on. So if anybody who's in planetary conquest wants to let me know.
I think the big story. Oh, let me get rid of this beard. It looks stupid. The big story.
Freaking me out.
Well, one of the big stories is Kronos saying, you know what, we're not really doing this. We're kind of doing it on a we want to fight this battle basis. You know, like if they want to fight, they're going to fight. If they don't, they're not going to show up. So I'm pretty sure a lot of corps are just kind of going after them, trying to get their districts for free. Well, not really for free, but, you know, going in there, get that free ISK, the free SP, just for going into an empty battle. And then the imperfects as well, or all of negative feedback. I don't know if it's all of them or what's going on with that. But last I saw, the imperfects didn't have any districts anymore, and internal error didn't have any districts. And I'm not sure about goon feed. I don't know what's going on with them, if they're even part of negative feedback or whatever. But those two leaving totally changed the whole landscape of planetary conquest, because Kronos was kind of like the mass land grab corp, or not corp, alliance, and then the imperfects and eternal error, just like all of negative feedback, they were kind of the big man on campus kind of thing. Like they were the ones that nobody really wanted to fight, and without both of those, it kind of opens up doors for smaller corporations to actually get in and, you know, experience PC, even though PC is totally broken as it is. But at the same time, it's kind of bad because whenever an alliance as big as Kronos says, you know what, screw it, we don't want to do it anymore, it's just, that's a lot of people that's not gonna be playing the game anymore, or the mode anymore. So I think it hurts PC more than it's going to help, you know, with the whole smaller corps getting experience. But hopefully, you know, PC gets the little fixes that Kronos and negative feedback wants, because you want to fight everybody. You don't want just to be like, oh, well, they think they're too good for us or for the game mode, so, you know, we're not going to fight them. I want to fight everybody. I don't really care about what corp you're in. I mean, I want to fight against everybody, you know. PC matches totally bring up the best, or like bring out the best of everybody, because everybody brings out their best gear. So it's kind of like the most intense battles you're going to have in Dust, and just not having those intense battles is going to make it suck. And I'm sad. Hans, what do you think about it? I took the host job.
I have not done a lot of planetary conquest since it very first started. So, I don't think that this is going to work as far as I don't know if this is intentional or not, like if there's posturing or not with this, you know, we don't want those districts anyway sort of attitude. But I think there's this like thought going around that by a bunch of people that were like, you know, the names that everyone was talking about, saying they're not interested anymore, that it's changes anything as far as, you know, the speed of planetary conquest getting fixed, or the health of the game or all the kind of like I have a lot less fear about the what does this mean for Dust's future that these two guys are saying that they're not interested. There's so many layers to that attitude when it crops up. This is obviously not the first game or situation for that attitude to come up when people abandon something and move on to something else. But
I still think it's a reason for concern.
it's a reason for concern, but I think both of those entities gain a lot from the, from that public statement and from that posturing, enough to take it with a heavy grain of salt as far as like what it says about the health of the future. I mean, the future itself is in the best hands it could be. Like, it's being handled by Team True Grit, which are the rock stars as far as the designers go that are willing to work with the CPM, and they're the ones that are the most willing to engage the community, and they've put out threads, like Fox 4's recent one that have specifically been, asking for feedback, and they're the ones that are the most likely to put that directly to use on the stuff they're working on in progress. So I'm not as worried about Planetary Conquest as I am about some of the other basic stuff about the game, the drop suits and the guns and the vehicles.
Everything.
Yeah.
Basically
Everything that's not Planetary Conquest. I mean, I know that they've got good people on it that are, and really trying to learn as much as they can after this first month, to improve on it.
Yeah, for PC to work, everything else has to work. Because if everything isn't working, it's not really the best of the best gear and everything. Because, there's all kinds of OP stuff. Because I know before the TAC AR nerf, it was whose team had the most TAC ARs, you're going to win. So, I don't know. I hope that the balance issues get fixed and the whole connection issues get fixed, because I know that was a big part of it too. So once it kind of just gets tweaked to where there's balance and the connection's fine, I think we're going to see more people doing PC, and we really need to see more people doing PC, because right now it's just kind of bleh.
Actually, what I was going to ask is Delta Force coming back?
Eventually, yes.
They got to lick their wounds.
Beyond that, I can say nothing.
It was good fun making fun of Orion while they were in it.
Yeah.
So I look forward to
Doing it again.
Yeah.
I say that with love.
Yeah, you guys actually showed up to fights, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. They had some time zone issues too. I mean, just grabbing districts initially on where they were in, rather than necessarily the time zone element too, which is a good lesson learned from. So.
Yeah, we had a few at 4 a.m. That wasn't fun.
The lack of control over when you can attack and defend is pretty frustrating.
Okay. VD, have you guys done anything in PC this week?
Well, my corp is still in PC, and my alliance, Rise of Legion as well, is still active in PC. We have like the bottom right corner of the map, which is like Clinked and part of Aided and Eggbinger and Osvider. I don't know, like we've been busy. Like it's constant, nonstop battles all the time. People, I think, see us as the big blue donut for some reason. It's just that we're a big alliance, so we've been the target now that Kronos has decided they don't want to play the game anymore. Which is all right. I mean, that's what we've been waiting for this for a long time. So.
Yeah, I remember talking to Jack, and he was saying, "Oh, like if Kronos go away, then like we'll be seen as the big bad, and everybody's gonna come gunning after us now." So
yeah, there's been a lot of I don't know if you guys have
quickly.
checked out the war room, but there's a lot of forum activity about Rise of Legion versus basically every other alliance out there. So, like, we've been attacked from Kronos, we've been attacked from the Imperfects or Negative Feedback, we've been attacked from League of Infamy. At the very beginning, we had a major war against Unclaimed, which was like STB and Zion Chat, and STB has roots in Meg, just like a lot of our corps from Rise of Legion does. So there was a lot of fun with that one, and we basically cleared them off the map, and then the Imperfects finished the job. Or I think they're still trying to. I think Team Players beat them in one of their matches the other day.
Woot woot. Eon.
Actually, something that was mentioned to me is STV aren't in Unclaimed anymore.
Yeah, that whole alliance kind of like fail castigated, didn't it? Like they had this big group of like really great, amazing corps. Like STV was second up in that one tournament against PFBHZ. 187 is their newer corp, but they've had roots in the beta for a long time from like Killshot Corp and other things like that. And I think 187 joined League of Infamy, and STV is just kind of sitting low, and I don't know if they're waiting for later to get re-involved with Planetary Conquest, or if they're just waiting for some new content to come out. And then I haven't heard of Zion in a long time. Like, I don't know where he's been or anything.
They left Unclaimed as well.
So.
Well, Zion himself was at E3.
He was at E3?
Yeah, he was there.
That's cool. Maybe that's where he's, like, what he's been up to lately. But he usually keeps the spotlight, whether it's, like, positive or negative. He usually keeps it quite often, and I haven't heard anything recently from them, so.
He was pretty quiet after the CSM thing.
Yeah, he was.
I think that took a hit there, morale-wise.
Well, right after that happened, there was the recording from, who was it, Cerebral Wolf, and all that stuff happened. Yeah. And then after that, he joined Unclaimed, so there was like all of that, and then there was like the Raffle versus Unclaimed, and then now I haven't heard anything from him, which actually has been a while now, so.
Fair enough.
That's my part of PC, I guess, coming from our alliance.
I think Goonfeet needs to assert their rightful place as the overlords of the big bad of Dust, just like in Eve.
Yeah, we're so mean.
So actually someone mentioned Goonfeet, and I just remembered Goonfeet and Subdread are actually fighting in Planetary Conquest now. Which I think is the most adorable thing ever.
Aww.
They're seeing what their big brothers are doing up in space, and they want to go join in.
You make bumper stickers for Eve ships that say my dust bunnies are beating up your dust bunnies.
Oh, it's like Pokemon battles.
I have a soft spot in my heart for Subreddit, because I was originally in Subreddit. They got me into the game. They taught me like everything I know. Well, not everything I know, but they taught me a lot, like my whole like foundation of my knowledge of Dust. So, I hope they do well. You know, I still have some friends in the Corp, but they're just.
So they're much like Test Alliance. They mean well. They're just well.
They're more of a social corp. They aren't a competitive corp. They're really just a social corp, and they teach new players, and then whenever people they want more, they go to a more competitive corp. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I understand that Subreddit wants to, be on the competitive scene, but with the way they run the corp as more of a, a social thing, it's going to take them a while and some reorganization of their whole corporation to actually be contenders when the time comes.
Test
my
is
spiel.
to pull that off, but 2 different games.
Well, in Eve, even, just having numbers means a lot.
Yeah,
Well,
not
Dust,
so much
it matters too. It matters to an extent. You have to have, well, I don't know. The way PC is now, it doesn't really matter because you have like 2 or 3 battles a day, maybe. And it also matters about your alliance size, because I know in Eon we do a lot of ringing. Like, that's mostly what we do. We have like half the corporation that's actually supposed to be in the fight, and then the other half is just, ringers that we pick up from other corporations in the alliance. But having numbers means you're more likely to have a solid team online, because if you only have 50 people online. I know Giant, we have somewhere around 90 members, and it's kind of difficult for us to put together a full team, or even sometimes shoot the 8 people we need to get online.
Do you mind if I just like interject there really quick?
What? Go ahead.
Sorry, Hans, I have to bring up your corp here, but I think corps like Delta Force and another one would be Pro just shows that Zerg Nation doesn't show to your advantage in planetary conquest. It doesn't matter how many people you have; it's how many people you have that can actually fight the battle. Because they're non-factors in PC right now.
Yeah. I mean, it matters to
I
an
agree.
extent. Either way, you have to have 16 people online that are, you know, worth their weight. So, I mean, if your corporation is a big corporation and you have a bunch of good people, then yeah, it's going to help you out because people aren't going to have the whole burnout factor that is destroying PC right now. With the smaller corporations, yeah, you can have your 16 solid people, but if they're playing every battle, it's going to get old to them, and they're going to stop wanting to play.
Yep. The mechanics of the game don't really allow you to have a good big corp that can fight too, because you get like those new people who don't really know what's going on who are joining corp battles, and can you kick them out even?
No.
Because I know that that's happened to a lot of people, not only with the Ewoks thing, but...
Now, there is going to be a fix where you can kick people out in the War Barge.
But I've heard about from like multiple corps, like none, of course, within my alliance, but from other corps that had lots of people, and what ended up happening is that like newberries who like were new and didn't really know what was going on saw that there was a corp battle, and they jumped in, and these people are trying to bring squads in, and they can't do it because these lone rangers who don't know what's going on are jumping into the battles. So I don't know. The whole Zerg Nation thing, I didn't understand it at the beginning, especially with the way the dynamic of like the Eve, you know, the Eve Dust universe is, and then this just proved that it doesn't work.
Yep, and that's exactly why you've seen in Delta Force, you've seen it fraction off into a feeder Delta Academy.
The Delta Academy,
smaller, and a much smaller Delta Force, and that's exactly what needs to happen to sort of focus the talent into one group, and then you know, one that's easier to logistically manage and have the right people at the right place at the right time.
It's not necessarily the better people that need to be in the actual corporation, just the people that are consistently doing the corp or the PC matches, so they can do the squad lead roles and bring in the other people.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my last thoughts on the whole Goonfeet versus subreddit, like, if any subreddit people are listening, I will ring. Like, if you want me to come in and help you guys, like, I'm around. Like, I don't really do much else in PC right now. Like, nobody's attacking Giant. And, like, I don't really pay much attention to what our allies are doing, which is kind of bad, but...
Let me log in and I'll attack you guys.
Okay.
Please, entertain us. I think we've had one...
log in right now.
I don't even know where you guys are on the map right now. Like, you're on the opposite side of the map from us, aren't you?
Yeah, we're on Autostair.
Yeah, so I'd have to drop a clone pack.
But, yeah, we've only had, like, one in the last probably week and a half, and it was, no offense to this corp, but it was a total no-name, and they only had, I think, 8 people show up. And it was just...
Did you guys get attacked by Ghetto Star Galactica?
No, but that sounds awesome.
I also don't want to fight them because their name is so awesome.
Yeah, that name is awesome.
We got attacked by Max Payne Inc. And it was...
I've never heard of them before.
Exactly. That's what our reaction was. We were just kind of like, what? So, I mean, I like that new corporations are getting into it. I mean, that's kind of cool. But at the same time, if they attack somebody that smacks the crap out of them, they're not going to want to play anymore. So, I mean, after the game, we had a few of our leadership position people go over and, you know, go into a chat with the leaders of that corporation. We're like, hey, you know, blah, blah, blah. If you want to practice with us, that's cool. Just keep attacking us. Well, you know. So, I mean, it depends on who they attack, because I'm sure if they attack somebody like, I don't know, Imperfects, I guess, you know, they're not going to be nice. They're going to all run crazy proto and try to, not die, not have one clone loss. So, I mean, it's all up to the community, and the community kind of sucks. But I love the community. But there's a bunch of bad people that
You really are trying to get hired by CCP, aren't you?
Man, I don't know. It's just some people are just blah. That's all they do is blah. It's just blah. I don't know how to explain it.
Building up his resume experience here as we speak.
They just have such a bad attitude all the time. I'm just like, shut up and stop complaining. It's a video game. It's not real life. But anyways, that's my drunk rant.
Well, there's complaining. There's just two types. There's the type where you actually care about it getting fixed, and the other where you don't give a shit and you just want to do it to be really obnoxious because you think being obnoxious is fun.
Constructive and destructive criticism.
Well, you have to give it to CCP. They got the most QQers under one forum, so.
God, yes.
I don't know if they should feel happy about that, but
Platinum trophy.
Well, since we're talking about feedback, we might as well move on to the last Planetary Conquest topic, which is Fox4 is started a thread, and it's the 3 things you like most and the 3 things you dislike most about Planetary Conquest.
man, Socksman is brave to put that post up. I saw bad things all over in my head when I saw that post.
It shouldn't, though. That should be the way that everything is done. I mean, that should be the way that it shouldn't be scary. It shouldn't be, and that's the thing. What I hope people take away from this is when they're given a golden opportunity like that, Fox4 is the type that is probably likely to just he's the most likely to just take those 3 things and be like, okay, this is what I'm working on with my time. I could do 12 things, but if you guys really want these 3, then let's do that. So why not take a thread like that seriously and just give, your top 3 pros and cons and leave it at that and not turn it into something that it doesn't need to be? Because, why spit on the developer's hand when they're, reaching out to try to get good feedback?
I don't remember of the feedback, the whole thread. The whole thing was very productive, which was I was very happily surprised. So.
Yep, and it's a scary process. Yeah, it's a scary process at first, and it's something that culturally is completely built into the way they've made games over in Iceland, and we don't know, why it hasn't, where why it's different in Shanghai. But it's gonna be a scary process for those guys too, and if they're not used to doing that, then they're gonna have the same reaction to doing it that you just did. But this is one of the things that we're trying to articulate to them over and over again is, look, a little bit goes a long way. Just a little serious thread that's proactive. Imagine every time if they were about to change a gun, they just said, hey, here's the problem that we see, and this is what we're trying to do to fix it. Do you think that these numbers reflect that? And just post it and be willing to accept some of the flames. But you'll find more often than not that people will react to that because it's what they're looking for, and they usually don't end up as nasty as you'd think they are.
Those sort of threads kind of promote the helpful people that actually care about the game to come out of the woodwork and make their voices heard.
Yeah. And eventually there's a tipping point where when there's enough good posting going on, the bad posting gets self-policed by the others. If somebody comes in and starts to talk some shit, they get smacked down by 10 other dudes that are trying to have a serious conversation. But that tipping point hasn't been reached yet. But I think it can be reached if CCP is more proactive. And this is the tough part, right? Is that this isn't really a situation that can be community managed out of. You can't just hire a bunch more community managers and fix this issue. What it takes bravery on the part of the designers and programmers to just talk about their work that's in progress and to throw those stickies up. And they have such a controlling preventative effect over the way the forum chatter kind of spirals from there that I really just think a sprinkling of that on all the various things that they're working on would just really get the community past that tipping point where they're willing to be more serious on the forums.
Yeah, I think a lot of the, like you said, a lot of the foreign flaming nonsense going on had roots from people not knowing what's going on inside CCP.
Yeah,
Transparency will go a long way, like as you said.
yeah. It's like the teacher's out of the room, so the kids are going to run around and just like shoot spitballs.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't really mean that the community sucks. It's just the
I don't think
there's
you mean it either.
there's so many people that just complain, and there's constructive, there's the constructive criticism that makes sense, but all these, the troll posts and, saying whenever who was it, CCP Frame that we were just talking about, post the top 3 things you like and bottom 3 things you don't like, or top 3 things you don't like. People would say that they don't like everything. That doesn't help at all. All that does, it just makes you look ignorant. And
that's slowing down whoever's time it takes to have to read through that. Either that's a designer or that's the community person that has to then, that is they're wasting their time just filtering stuff to get to the designer in the first place.
And
I don't think people
work.
understand they're directly interfering.
Yeah, most threads, they can be, most threads that I've tried to make constructive criticism threads, and they'll just get pushed to the bottom by just some stupid stuff that's just it's not constructive. And I think the community as a whole needs to work on being more mature. I know it sounds crazy, but be more mature on the forums, because that's where they're getting their information from. And they may see you complaining about something, but how you complain about it could have a total, correlation with how fast or if they even fix that problem.
I think, like Han said, there's a tipping point with good forum feedback, but we're kind of seeing right now is the flip side of that with the bad forums. One post feeds off another, and then it just kind of snowballs from there.
The stuff that sticks around is the stuff that's exciting, not the stuff that's useful. And that's just the cultural value of the forum community right now, is they value entertainment more than progress. And and to some extent there's a reason for that, and it's because there hasn't been that same and I don't know whether it's expected as much, because I don't really see the Dust community as being a bunch of like EVE players that have come down. It's far more made up of other communities that have come into this. But just the fact that contrast between what we know takes place on the EVE side of development versus what takes place on the Dust side, I just don't think this community is like hopeless or anything. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, the forums are always going to be this way. I couldn't disagree more. I think it's just really a matter of giving people a reason to calm down, and they haven't been really given a lot of reasons to calm down, because they haven't been given a lot in general. And I think it's a pretty fixable problem in the long run. It's just going to take some bravery and outspokenness on the part of people to share what they're working on.
I'm looking at the forums right now. I just pulled up general discussion.
Oh dear.
There's one talking about 3 new guns
place.
after servers came up. Just kidding. They're still not up. And then what? It's just, yeah, general discussion is just like general stuff. But it's like just a bunch of stupid, pointless things. There's a few things like the reason PC failed. That's a good, conversation starter. And I think,
but you know what? There's
have
probably
more
a
of those.
thread that's already with the same thing over in feedback and discussion. And that's the other thing that people need to learn is like, if there's already a good thread going, take 5 minutes and go find it, and just keep it there. And then, because the forums are in a place where like even the CPM, like we literally don't have the time to sit around and be like forum whizzes that know everything that's going on in every corner of the forums. Like that would be a full-time job. And so the more stuff there is to wade through, the worse the more we have to tune it out and focus on the few stuff that really matters. So I would love to be in every thread that's posted, but I can only do that if there's like a tenth of the threads and they're all useful,
Yeah, and people should post more in My Dust, because
It's
I mean, I
dead.
fought for that subsection of the forums, and like nobody's using it now, and it's really annoying. I mean, some people are, but it has like 140 threads in it or something, and people are just posting stuff in general instead.
General is like the laziest place to post, period. Like, it's predominantly posts that people should have put somewhere else but were too lazy to, and then
It's probably
You know.
counterproductive too.
Yeah.
If you have something that needs to go in My Dust, you want them to see this thing, and you'll just get buried under the.
I see a lot of war room and locker room posts getting moved from general discussion.
yeah.
But yeah, I
Well,
mean,
think about it. If you're a designer that's busy and you've got you've got like 100 things to code, and you only have time to do 10 of them, and you've only got an hour in your schedule between this and that and whatever, and you want to go and you want to read some forums, like, you're not going to go to general discussion, right? You're going to go to any one of the other forums that's more subdued, and it's just it's a silly place to put stuff that you care about, and the same with just making a thread that already exists in general is just kind of a silly way to get your feedback noticed, because all it becomes is somebody else's chore.
okay, well, what I'll end on is, what are your 3 likes and 3 dislikes about PC? And I will start with DS, since he
Crap.
made that noise.
What I like, it puts something like out there for you to fight for. I like that. I like that you're actually fighting for something. It starts rivalries and keeps rivalries going. I like that. And it took away a lot of the monotony of just regular public matches. I know it's like the same thing basically, but the games actually feel different, at least in my opinion.
Well, you can feel the full team, which
Right.
is something you can't do in other modes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's more of a serious atmosphere, and I like competitiveness. So, that whole thing wrapped up would be my third good thing. Bad things. The timer system is kind of wonky. What's my second one? Obviously the lag. That's like the number. Well, I guess that should be my top reason. And then, what would be my third one? The lack of either vote to kick a person off, or the CEO can kick a person off, or whoever squad leader can kick a person off. Something. They need to do something to get rid of unwanted teammates, I guess.
That's already in the works. That should be in the next
Oh
one.
yeah, I know. But that's my thing that I don't like at the moment. Because until
Yeah.
I see it, I'm not going to believe it. That's not a knock on CCP at all. I'm just saying, I've learned with my experiences in life in general, you got to take what people say, with a grain of salt, as you've said like 30 times today.
I was gonna say.
Hans?
That's it. Sorry.
I think the fact that there's adds a persistent element to the game is its strongest, thing that it has going for it. There needs to be something permanent besides lobby matches, because that's all Dust is without Planetary Conquest. Like, it's a pretty important pillar, as far as what's separating it from other games. So, that being said, I think, the rewards need some work, as far as it needs to be enticing for both EVE players and for Dust players, and there needs to be more space. I mean, I would love to see 2 or 3 times as much space, 2 or 3 times as many corps that are able to participate, but also 2 or 3 times as much, reason for everybody to want to do it from both sides. I guess that counts as a negative. So I've already lost track of my score. As far as things to change, I think more granularity on the timers and when battles go down, giving corps more flexibility and setting up their districts once they take them over, so they can tune it to how their corp works, would certainly be a huge plus. Lag is pretty atrocious. I think that's the really frustrating thing, is that this is the sort of premier feature that makes it stand out from other games, is this persistence, and yet it's the area with the least amount of performance. And so that's just got to be ironed out, whatever manpower it takes. Did I do all 3? I don't know.
We'll just go as you did all 3.
Sure.
Leoso?
Yeah, the thing I like best about PC is that it replaced the perpetual EP measuring contest that the corp battles and leaderboards and that sort of thing were. It actually is. It gives your contribution to the game a bit more permanence. But on the other hand, there is the seriousness factor, but beyond that, it's essentially the same game as a public match. You're just playing with a more regular, coordinated team. So I think that needs to be addressed. Make the PC matches a bit more unique as opposed to public matches. But that's something that can come in time. And I only have the 2 because I haven't actually played a PC match, so my list is pretty short.
Okay. And finally, VD?
Honestly, I just have to reiterate what people have already said. I like the owning digital real estate. I think that's cool. I think that they really need to work on the lag. I got sidetracked, so I don't remember what else was said, but I agree with them. I'd like the timers to be changed. I hate waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to fight a battle. Sucks. I hate how it feels like work, actually. I think that's what's making people have a hard time with Planetary Conquest, is it's not fun for a lot of people anymore. It's like a job.
Yeah. That's going to be the hardest thing to iron out, because there's no way to make something that's, persistent and international that isn't going to be inconvenient for somebody at some point somewhere, and that's, it's...
Well, it's hard too, because I can't offer a solution. I just have to go with I don't like it, because I can't think of a better way to do it.
Well, I think a lot of it is the pace at which it happens. People can handle a certain amount of alarm clocking, but if it's a daily basis they're having to alarm clock for stuff, then there's a burnout level there. That, if people have more options or more ways to mitigate it, then it can be tolerated. But
yeah, I think another thing that has to go with it too is that there's not enough districts. They need to open that up. I feel like there's a lot of smaller corps that, I know us who've been around since beta, and those of us who are bigger and stuff now, can really take advantage of the extras that the game is offering. But those smaller corps, they don't have quite the opportunity, and I'd like to see them play, because they're the ones that are also going to be growing and making the game grow too. Without having them taking part in the features, it's really hindering the growth of Dust, I feel.
I don't know how they would separate the smaller, newer people from the veterans.
How many districts do we have right now? Do 256 or something?
Yeah,
45.
something like that.
Depending on how many, how the rewards are done, there might be some territory that's less. This would be the really tricky thing because of there just being so many restrictions on the economic flow between the two games. But as more stuff opens up, I think there's room for having different sort of tiered, like districts that are worth more than others, like more planets that are worth more than others, to where there's territory that's worth, somebody that, like territory that you wouldn't necessarily want to overextend your alliance and it would almost be more work than you get out of it in return, depending on the level of competitiveness that you're at or the amount of resources that you have from other things that you do in either game. And just have it be a gradient of risk and reward, even within the various districts.
And I get it because
it's a tall order right now because there's so little room.
Yeah, that's exactly it too. Is I understand. Kind of the way that they're doing it because people want to own districts because there's so little of them. But at the same time, like I said, there's lots of corps who are just running pub matches that are tired of it because it sucks for them. There's not the additional content isn't available for them because they don't have the numbers or the ability to do that just yet. They I don't know, they don't need to open up so many that it waters it down, but they do need to open up some more so that it gives more opportunity for people to play and grow in a different way.
I just think that if you see somebody that you don't recognize that's owning a owning a district that's somewhere in the vicinity of your corporation, if you're a veteran corporation, you're going to go attack them. And most likely you're going to take them out. And it's not going to really solve much, in my opinion. But you never know. It could, make things better. But I don't know how they would keep the newer corporations together, or if they could protect them at all. Or I don't know. Veteran corporations are going to be the ones that dominate PC, and I don't think that's a good thing. But I can kind of understand why it is the way it is.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do my 3 likes and dislikes then,
No.
and then we'll wrap this up. So one of the things no one mentioned was I like the amount of stories and metagame that comes out of it. So I like hearing about the whole AWOXing thing. That was really cool because that was something that hadn't really come up before. I also like the competitiveness that DS mentioned, and I like that it begins to get that even dust side, mixing a bit. It's one of my dislikes actually is that I don't like how little effect the two games have on each other. Bringing Eve side support can actually be a bad thing because if you have someone on the Eve side and they disconnect or they get ganked or something, then you lose a precision strike. So that's one of my dislikes. The other dislike would be I dislike how the bonuses that they've given to Eve players from the dust, people holding districts, don't encourage Eve players to be in that area. So you're not getting a bonus to rat spawns, or you're not getting a bonus to PI, or you're not getting a bonus to exploration. It's all just POS stuff, and POS stuff is very, very passive.
Everything is a bit timid. It seems that way to me.
Yeah. And
I'd agree.
I had a third dislike, but I can't remember what it is now.
Just say lag. Everybody says lag.
My third dislike was that you don't get enough base clones on a district to attack another district twice within one timer. I actually wish there were more than 300 clones, because then you could send 300 clones at someone and attack them twice using that, as opposed to what it is now. Because logging on 1 hour, for a 1 hour timer every day, just to fight one match seems kind of bad. I feel like there should be more risk rewards in there. So like if you had 450 clones, let's say, or 500 on like a district base, you could send 300 and you'd still have 200 to defend yourself. But yeah, that's like my 3 dislikes.
I'll just make sure you guys get them all in that thread written down at some point.
Yeah.
Cast your
All
votes.
All mine were like
I really-
the typical ones.
I should not say things like cast your votes because there's going to be all kinds of people now that are going to think that that's is somehow how it works. But
Just get Iron Wolf to
No.
post that on the forums.
yeah. Now, when a developer comes down and speaks and asks for help, like it's the best time to just give them exactly what they want, straight faced.
Developer comes down and
Not-
makes it sound like they're descending from heaven or something.
Okay.
Anywho.
No, that's how everyone's making it sound. Well, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't like. It only seems dramatic because it doesn't happen as often on the Dust side as it does. That contrast, I think, is what's creating the sort of mystique surrounding Sox 4.
Okay. Well,
Though he is a good dude. I'm not trying to say he's all mystique.
I
Mystique
just
House.
checked how long we've been recording this section for, and it's almost 50 minutes, so I'm just going to go to final thoughts and shoutouts. And I will start with VD. This time I'll go the other way around.
Oh, shout out to my corp, Onslaught Inc. and my alliance, Rise of Legion. I don't have any final thoughts.
Cool. Leoso?
Shout out to I don't know, man. That one corp that had the awesome name. It was
Ghetto Star Galactica.
Yes. Shout out to them for having an awesome name.
I heard you guys had people at E3.
Oh, the Matani? Yeah, we had the editors. They were the only ones that got to go.
Okay.
To demand a raise. You want travel paid for next time. Ask them what kind of media empire doesn't send all of its reporters to E3, right? That's no kind of media. Call them a blog. I don't know. I'll get you fired.
They pay for my Eve accounts.
Yeah.
And anyway, go.
They got you by the balls.
Okay. Hans, final thoughts and shoutouts.
I will give a shout out to my corp. Delta Force, and my Logi bro, Thurman Merman. Other than that, final thoughts. I think we've covered most of them. Keep an eye on my blog. I'm going to start filling it with more stuff. Starting tonight. Well, starting last week, but tonight as well. That's about it.
And DS.
I'm not just gonna shout out to the corp. I'm gonna shout out to Eon, because we're more of just a big family than other other alliances, I think. And shout out to Grupo de Asalto Chakal for letting me blow up all your tanks all the time. That's awesome of you. And anybody else who likes to fly dropships, if you see me on the other team, please fly them because I like my one-shot kills. So, yeah, here's a challenge for you to, kill me. I don't know, whatever. I'm drunk. I don't really care.
I thought we wouldn't have a challenge put out that says Blazes in here, but
Oh,
guess I was wrong.
hey, I'm always open for a dropship versus my forge gun challenge because dropships are so bad that I can just, one shot takes them down. It's great.
I like bullfighting with LAVs, like when they're charging you down and you got that one shot to like put them down before they run you over.
And then you find out they're a Logi LAV and they just drive right through it, and that's even better.
Yeah. Well, that's why you got to have the little fancy sidestep there at the end.
Sidestep
Yeah.
is a heavy?
And then you say,
You
"Oh,
joking? It's like a scuttle.
That's why do you think I fit these speed bots? Everyone thinks I'm crazy, but they really come in handy
Yeah.
when you're bullfighting with LAVs.
Just sit up top.
Yeah, I
Stay
know.
away from the other
It's
views.
much more fun.
You'll be alright. But yeah, that's all my shout outs.
Cool. My final thoughts are, if you want to come on the show, because I've been having a lot of people saying I only bring on pro CCP people or whatever. Because
CCP sucks.
yeah, people want me to bring
We're,
on
not-
like
we're none of those
the
things.
worst
What?
part of the forums more.
Oh
But yeah.
God!
I've,
Please don't.
yeah, I'm not going
You
to.
had
But
Regnum on your show or Telk?
I asked
Soda
Beers
pop.
actually, and he said no. I think I asked Telk, and he said no.
I don't like you. It's all good.
Telk's afraid that everyone else is going to find out that he's a super nice guy and very calm. And
I don't keep up with forum warriors.
all these guys that make so much noise on the forums, they're all like super chill in real life, and it's hilarious to me. Like it's just, and that's probably why they don't go on the podcasts and stuff. They're afraid that people will realize that they're just not, you know.
Got to keep their street cred up or whatever.
Exactly.
Well, I guess people are going to know I'm not a dude anymore.
Didn't they already know that?
I didn't. With a name like Virgin Destroyer,
Weren't you
Yeah.
on stage at FanFest?
It's a double-edged sword. It always is. You're gonna regret this as much as you're gonna enjoy it.
Oh, well, it's my Eve name is Mustache Rider, so I get more crap for that one than I do Virgin Destroyer.
you were just
But then again, that's why I said thank you for the beards this evening.
You're quite welcome.
I was going to say on my blog, which will be down there because we actually got Hangout working this week. And thanks Leoso again for doing my lovely overlay.
No problem.
If you go on my blog, on the right hand side now, there's instructions on how to apply to come on the show. Like, I'm pretty much open to anybody who wants to come on. Like, as long as you meet all those, like, 4 requirements, which is basically be over 18 and don't be a tool. As DS.
That weeds out.
I was gonna say,
huge
why
amount,
is
though.
DS
You would
on
be
here?
You would be surprised.
wow.
No, I was just going to say, because
You
you
don't
just
think I'm a
brought the
tool?
beard up just as I
It's a
said that.
useful tool.
I'm not a tool. I'm the FPS guy. I'm not.
As he
into
says
the
with the
whole
fake
thing.
beard.
You know what? I wanted to fit in, and you said you like beards, so I wanted to throw mine on.
That's wonderful.
Well, that's my final thoughts. Anybody who wants to come on the show, just like give me a drop or let me know. And yeah, there's instructions now on the actual blog, so go look at those. And big shout out to
Have
Giant.
instructions for your blog.
Well, the instructions for how to apply to get on the show.
Oh, okay. My bad.
But yeah, and shout out to Giant because I haven't actually done a shout out to Giant yet. Like, I've mostly just been shouting out to like Google Hangout because it's great. But yeah. Anyway, we'll be back next week. I haven't been doing much YouTube and blog stuff recently. I'm actually getting ready to move house, which I mention like several times a week. But yeah, like I'll be back to doing more regular content soon. But Boots on the Ground will keep going until then. So yeah, see you guys next week and have a good one. Thank you.
That was well.